Hello, today we are talking about classroom management. And this lesson will be given by Juliia Savenko, our interclass trainer, franchisee, British Council trainer, and a specialist in training teachers. Please.
Hello everyone and welcome to my session. So today we are going to discuss this aspect of teaching English, and which is very important, and it's classroom management. So classroom management, and according to Scrivener, classroom management is the moment-by-moment decisions and actions concerning organization of their classroom activities and sitting, grouping, arrangement, starting and stopping activities, dealing with unexpected problems. So classroom management is more about organizing our learners, not about teaching them, and organizing teaching. So the main elements of classroom management are the following. First, grouping and teams. So we think how our learners work in pairs, in groups, or individually, or arranging, rearranging their sittings, deciding where to sit or where to stand, and reforming class or a whole group. The next element is activities. So sequencing, setting up and instructions, monitoring and timing, and bringing and authority. So we decide how they will work, deciding who does what, establishing autonomy, authority. Critical moments. It's about dealing with problems and managing them, managing our class, starting the lesson, dealing with unexpected problems, maintaining appropriate discipline, it's behavior problems, and finishing the lesson for sure. And tools and techniques. So it's using the board and equipment for our lesson, using gestures to help our learners, speaking clearly, and use of silence sometimes, and grading our language and grading a quantity of language. So working with people, spreading your attention evenly and appropriately, using intuition and what students are feeling, eliciting feedback, and really listening to students. So classroom management options. So first, we need to be very flexible and look at classroom events minute by minute, and finding options and making decisions between one option and the other option. And then we take an action and doing the chosen action. And the most important aspect, this is what we need to start with, is establishing reports, because it affects students' motivation. And why it's important? Because it enables effective communication, and a report is based on trust and respect. And as it has been discussed above in motivation session, it's about an affective filter as well. And it involves learning about another person, their interests, likes, dislikes, personality, moods, so on and so forth. How can we do it? First, we need to learn their names and comment on objects in their possession, their pencil case, their book, whatever. Do not ignore them, even if you see them at the playground. Say hello to your learners and tell them about yourself, and show them that you're a human being. Tell light jokes and be friendly and approachable. Look in the eye. Well, eye contact is really important, and use your body language, your tone, pace, and volume. Never embarrass your learners, and when providing support, it's important to sit in a student chair down to their level. And keep learners safe physically. It's about effective filter again, and apologize if something happens. It's okay, and it conveys respect and professionalism. And master important strategies: feedback, questioning, formative assessment, scaffolding, and so on. And build student self-esteem. It also affects their motivation. And the next aspect of classroom management, rules of 3 R's, they stand for rewards, rules, and routines. So first, rewards, it's about setting clear expectations and use positive reinforcement with your learners. Don't forget to praise them. Don't forget to tell them they're superstars and provide them with constructive feedback. Rules, set out rules and consequences and rewards at start of the lesson. So they know about rules of computer games and they like to follow rules. So it gives them a feeling of safety and during the lesson, and helps them to increase their self-esteem in a way. So let children help make up rules and let them see why the rules are in place. So you can offer them to create their own rules, and then they will feel more responsible for following those rules. And routines, insist on quiet before you give instruction. Give clear expectations and set up routines of your lessons. It also helps your learners to feel safe and secure during the lesson. Next aspect of classroom management is teacher talking time, which is TTT, and student talking time. And classroom language, teachers talking time. So here are some advantages of teachers talking time, why we need it, because students learn a lot of their language from what they hear you say, the instructions, discussions, jokes, chit chats, so on. And by listening to you, the learner is somehow absorbing correct picture of the language. And by interacting with you, the learner is learning to interact with a competent user of the language. And this is maybe more useful than talking to a poor user for sure. But we need to mind how much we say, because students talking time, if you talk most of the time, how much time the learners get to speak then? Imagine if you have 25 learners, it's only 2 minutes for each of them. So students talking time is the most efficient way of learning for students to really be involved in the lesson. And talking the learners does not necessarily mean that learning is talking a place. In many cases, teaching talking time is actually time when learners are not doing very much or not involved, and they do not listen to you. They just pretend listening to you. So we need to mind that 30% of time should be teachers talking time, and 70% of the lesson should be students talking time. How to maximize students' interactions? So we encourage friendly, relaxed learning environments, ask questions, allow time for students to listen, think, and speak, really listen to what they say and react, increase different opportunities for students talking time, use gestures, avoid using teachers talking time, make use of pairs and group work, organize different interactions, arrange sitting, and if students is speaking too quietly for you to hear, come to them and then encourage them to speak. So as for using English in the class, we need how to increase it. We need to use lots of listening material to surround them in the sound of English, put English language posters, negotiate the ground of rules with students about using English language and discuss the point of the activity, agree how it will be done, respond positively to every fault of using English, do not punish them, and don't tell learners off for not using English, but keep operating in English yourself, so it will encourage them to use more English. Spend time on fluency, work without correction, establish that you're delighted, so praise them for using English, and create pair and small group activities. Sometimes we can stop and tell them, I noticed that you're using Ukrainian or Russian, is that okay? So just to remind them, and be prepared for English to grow gradually rather than be established for the whole lesson. So it will not happen, there is no magic here. Okay, how to increase students' interaction from teacher to a student. So it's interaction between teacher and students only. But increasing student interaction is more important. So this is how it can be done. So teacher, student, and student interacts with another student. So this is how we get our student-student interaction. Well, how we can also organize interaction of our learners. We can use different seating arrangements, and it can be organized like this or like that, or in a hostel. Or it can be movable seating arrangements when your students are free to move enemy corners, or pairs, not only pairs, can be mingle activity, opposing teams and face-to-face, panel discussion, public meeting, and bus groups, and wheels. So, and you should decide for yourself which role for which activity. So you can monitor them. For example, if we go back to seating arrangements, you can monitor them working in pairs here. If you need to hear some information, or monitor them working in wheels, if you need to know more about them, or to need to monitor their progress, or to hear some mistake that they make. Or you can just participate with them. It's about panel discussion. Here we had also. And you can just vanish and take a back seat and observe your learners. So, and what is most important about organizing an productive full activity? If you want to get some results, you need to start with good instructions. And good instructions are short, simple, precise, easy to follow, repeated, and demonstrated. Before each activity, you need to think of instructions and how you will give these instructions. How to give clear instructions. There are 5 steps. First, to become aware of your own instruction. You need to understand these instructions first of all. Then you need to pre-plan essential instructions. So it can be short sentences, or just using clear language for your learners. And then to separate instruction clearly from chit-chat, of telling, joking, etc. They need to be short and precise, and do not interrupt your learners from the activity. First of all, we need to use some attention-getting signals to get the attention of our learners before starting any instruction. Make eye contact, create a silence, and then you can start giving instructions. Then demonstrate rather than explain. Demo sometimes is more productive than just saying something. So you can also work with other learners, some like stronger learners who can help you to demonstrate how to do something. And check that students have understood. It's about using instruction checking questions and never ask, do you understand? Because they always say that they understand, but at the end they don't know what to do. So how to get learners' attention. This is what we need to start our instruction, any activity with. We need to get their attention first, so they will be prepared to listen to what they need to do. So you can start with making an eye contact and establish gesture. You can establish this gesture in your particular classroom with your learners, so they understand, they know it. For example, like please freeze, like you're a cheese, and they listen to, oh, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, can be different. Just wait, it's silence, creating silence, and they understand that they need to focus on you. Don't look impatient or anxious. Then think of this as gathering attention and enjoy it. Wait as long as necessary, and if this doesn't work, edit in clear attention drawing words as okay. And you can also use different gestures, as I have already told. So you can establish your own gestures in the classroom. Some gestures can help you and can help you to avoid teachers' talking time. Using the board well, it's also important. So this layout can help you to organize your board properly. And a few useful board thoughts. Avoid long teacher writing times. So find opportunities to write things up on the board while students are working. Practice writing on the board in a way that your board doesn't block the view for everyone. And learners can also write, they can help you to write something on the board, and watch out that you don't use your own writing on the board and the time wasting. And alternative positions. When writing on the board, we do not use this position A, we use position B, so you can monitor your learners and they can see what you write there. Wow, using drawing can be really helpful, because one picture is often worth many unnecessary words. And pictures could be used for quick explanations, so you don't need to give long explanation in English language. You can just draw and they understand everything. Some advantages of using pictures according to Scrivener, and this is what you can use. But you can also use hints for drawing, stick figures, add character by giving different shapes of head, feathering bodies, drawing in simple clothes, adding expressions in the mouth or eyes. So it's about emotions, and add locations, railway platform, restaurant, knife table, whatever. So eliciting is a technique for drawing information, ideas, and language from your learners. And so teachers elicit ideas and language from their learners and understands what he needs to work on and how to work with this information. And for sure, it's important to provide your learners with constructive feedback at the end of the lesson, but also after each activities. And it should be something positive at the beginning, so you praise your learners. Then goes the area for improvements. It's not criticism, but objective stating of the mistake or situation description. if it's about their behavior, for example. And we finish with positive feedback, with something positive. We praise our learners. Intuition in the class is also crucial. This is how Scrivener sees it. So first we do things, then we recall them and reflect on them, then we process, and then we use intuitive insights. How to prevent learning, something that we mustn't do. And first, it's we need to reduce teachers' talking time. We need to avoid echoing. Echoing is repeating our learners' answers, correct answers usually. So it's time consuming as well. Helpful sentence, spoon feeding. We should avoid spoon feeding our learners too much. We can help, we can scaffold, but do not try to avoid too helpful sentence completion. Complicated and unclear instructions, time consuming, waste of time. Not checking understanding of instructions. Do you understand? Yes, if you ask, so it will not work. Fear of junior feedback. So we need to prevent it. And insufficient authority or over politeness with our learners. We need to be short and precise when we give instructions. The running commentary, again, our teachers' talking time. And how to prevent learning. Lack of confidence in self-learners, materials and activity, making it too easy. Over-helping. So again, spoon feeding, flying with the fastest, and it's organizing different activities for different learners. Some of them need more time, some of them need less time, but we shouldn't work with the fastest only. Not really listening to our learners and hearing only language problems, it's not appropriate because sometimes we need to focus on the content of what they tell to us. And weak rapport, creation of poor working environment. This is what I started my presentation with, and I told that it was really important to create a good working environment with your learners. So that's it. Thank you for your attention. I hope it will be helpful for teachers.
Thank you, Julia, and we'll see you later in next 2 lessons when we will be talking about assessment and error correction. Goodbye.